I lost my brother away from all. He is now away from us. I lost him, and I don't even know if he's buried or not.
This is Naden Abdul Latif, a 13-year-old Palestinian blogger from Gaza who actively shares updates from the war zone on her Instagram account. We interviewed her on June 25th to learn about the situation on the ground. Around 38,000 people have been killed in Gaza due to the Israel-Hamas war since October 7, 2023. A large number of these deaths are of children. Estimates collected from the Gaza Health Ministry, UNICEF, and Save the Children have risen from 3,500 children's deaths in October 2023 to over 15,000 in June 2024. Save the Children, a British aid group working in Gaza, says that many children have been detained and disappeared by Israeli forces, some thrown into unmarked or mass graves, or maimed beyond recognition. Others have been separated from their families and are at risk of exploitation. Naden lives in the Nuseirat camp, located in the middle of Gaza. The camp is infested with cockroaches and bugs, a far cry from the clean, warm place she used to call home. In Gaza, she does not have access to a stable internet connection, so our call was layered with static. But we feel it is important for you to hear her story in her own voice.
I'm just confused. I'm also confused on why they did this to us. I mean, we're human beings. They destroyed places around us. They've killed us. I've lost more than just one person from my family. I've lost my uncle, my cousin. I lost my other aunt. I lost my other aunt. Why? I'm completely traumatized by everything that is happening to me. And yet I'm still here trying my best to be strong and share our message to the world.
Like thousands of other Palestinian children, Naden has had to face profound and multifaceted losses due to the ongoing conflict. Many have lost family members, homes, and even their own lives. Living in a war-torn environment also means a constant state of fear and insecurity, hindering their development and well-being.
I lost my brother away from all. He is now away from us. I lost him, and I don't even know if he's buried or not. That's the hardest part. I don't know if he is buried. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he's set up. I don't know. I just know that he was martyred, and we lost all contacts with him because right now he's in another life, in paradise, inshallah. And I've lost my home. It is completely destroyed, and I just want to know why they destroyed it. Other places that I was staying in, refugee too, they were destroyed.
Save the Children reports that 21,000 children are missing in Gaza. Of these, 4,000 are presumed dead under the rubble, and 17,000 are unaccompanied or separated from their families. Israeli forces have dropped 75,000 tons of explosives on Gaza, equivalent to 6 nuclear bombs. This has turned homes, schools, and places of worship into rubble. 60% of its homes are damaged. Children crushed by entire apartment buildings are unlikely to survive. Journalist Ahmed Hijazi shot these visuals. The intensity of the war in Gaza, along with movement and access restrictions and communication blackouts, makes it difficult to track and locate children who have been separated or detained. This means the true number of missing children in Gaza is likely even higher. Save the Children's report also mentions that 250 Palestinian children are missing in the occupied West Bank. Naden says that the number of missing children is likely higher than what has been reported in the media.
These children who are missing, it's not all of those children who are missing. These were only the ones that their families were able to go to the hospital and say, this child is missing. This child is under the ground, and we get them out. These are the only families. There are more out there, more families who aren't able to go and say, oh, my child is missing, oh, my child was gone, oh, my child was martyred. Please talk about them. Sure, there are lots of families like that, and I'm one of those families. I'm one of those families who my brother was martyred and is not counted from the ones who are counted. So this shouldn't be happening. These missing children who are now about 20,000 shouldn't be happening. Imagine these children were your children. That's all I gotta say.
In Gaza, thousands of families wait for news that never comes. Psychologists refer to this mental condition as ambiguous loss. Ambiguous loss occurs when someone important to you is missing, but there are no clear answers about their fate. When a loved one dies, the sadness and trauma are profound, but the finality allows for the start of healing. In contrast, ambiguous loss keeps people in a state of confusion, doubt, and constant fear due to the lack of answers. This is Dr. Pauline Boss, a professor emeritus at the University of Minnesota. In the 1970s, she coined the term ambiguous loss, and she has been practicing as a family therapist for 45 years.
It's an unclear loss. It's a loss that has no proof of the person being dead or alive. So the family left behind has no death certificate, it has no proof, it has no data to help them decide if their loved one is dead or alive, gone forever, or coming back.
According to Jonathan Cricks, UNICEF State of Palestine Chief of Communication, who visited Gaza earlier this year, more than half of the 12 children he met had lost a family member in this war. That was 6 months ago, and things have only gotten worse since then. Dr. Boss also compares this overall situation with both Israeli and Palestinian children suffering to the World War II Holocaust.
Impact is horrendous, and it will not just be lifelong. It will again be like the Holocaust, have a negative effect across the generations. By that I mean trauma that will be passed on cross-generational. It is so horrible, I can't describe what these people must be going through. From the children's point of view, they will be totally frightened, traumatized. I mean, the trauma will be great for the children because they will be torn away from the circle of safety they have been accustomed to, whether it be family, mother, father, or community, or school and friends. I work closely with the International Committee of the Red Cross and Red Crescent, and other NGO organizations. And what we're finding is that the enemy likes to kidnap and disappear people because it hurts more than killing them.
Despite the dire need, children remain cut off from psychosocial care. Before the latest escalation, over 500,000 children in Gaza were identified as needing mental health and psychosocial support. Now, every child has been exposed to deeply distressing events and trauma marked by widespread destruction and displacement.
I have 2 friends that were martyred, and they were from my school. Both of them were 14, 13. These people, these children, these 2 girls, for what reason? For seeking shelter in our school. I'm not able to help them. I'm not able to help their families because I'm not able to help my own family, which is the hard part. You can't help the people who are in need. That's the scary part. Who's going to help us if we can't help others?
In areas that are not embroiled in conflict, Dr. Boss helps people cope with ambiguous loss by teaching them to hold 2 opposing ideas in their minds simultaneously.
We teach them both and thinking. It's not binary, both and. My little girl may be alive and may be dead. Both and. She is both probably dead and maybe not. They find some meaning, and you need meaning and something new to hope for in order to survive this kind of loss.
We asked Dr. Boss how people who are in a war zone can cope with these problems when they don't have the luxury of consulting therapists.
So it is not a clinical office with a therapist. It is somewhere safe, a place of a synagogue or a mosque or a church or a school, often, or the school, but I think where these people are, there's no prediction of where it's safe. So it may be in Ukraine, it's underground. Find a safe place where several people can talk to each other.
Dr. Boss also emphasizes the importance of memorializing the names of those who are lost to ensure they are remembered and honored. This practice of naming and remembrance serves as a powerful tool for healing and coping with grief, especially in the context of ambiguous loss where closure is elusive.
We must put up some kind of memorial in the community for the missing persons. And it doesn't have to be elegant. What it has to have is the names. It must have their names, so we know they have been here on this earth.
Many artists and activists have already embraced this act of memorialization for children who have been killed in the war. Taysir Barakat's art installations often reflect the pain and resilience of the Palestinian people. A community art project titled Birds of Gaza gets participants to create a unique handmade bird for each child killed in the war. And Yael Jamina visualizes each Palestinian child on a canvas as a poppy or a dot to illustrate the scale of the massacre. Her poignant work highlights the enormity of the loss and the individuality of each life as the conflict continues and all names are not yet available. Dr. Boss believes the practice of naming and memorializing missing children is important too. Save the Children reported that children facing Israeli military detention inside Israel are also experiencing violence and torture. The Palestinian Commission for Detainees and Ex-Detainees Affairs estimates that about 460 children have been detained in the last 5 months. According to UNRWA, many detainees are held in secret locations, in places like Zikim just across the border from northern Gaza and on sites around Be'er Sheva, such as the Sti Taman base. They are forcibly transported to Israel and subjected to extreme physical, psychological, and sexual violence. UN experts have also found bodies of children in Gaza who were tortured and some who were buried alive. The threat of disease is also rising every day. Many water, sanitation, and hygiene facilities have been damaged or destroyed. Displaced children and their families cannot maintain the hygiene needed to prevent disease and chronic diarrhea, a leading killer of young children. In March, UNICEF reported famine in Gaza, with households skipping meals daily. According to the Integrated Food Security Phase classification, almost all of Gaza will face worse levels of food insecurity in the upcoming 3 months, and nearly 500,000 people are at risk of starvation.
There's not any kind of good food here. Like I said, there's no fresh food. There's no fresh water. There's no clean water. Even if you want to clean the clothes they are wearing, you can rarely able to clean them because there's no water to clean yourself with to wash those clothes. And even if you want to wash those clothes, I'm a person who washes their clothes with their hands, and my hands have a lot. They are very sensitive, and I get lots of bruises, and it hurts. It really does hurt, especially when your nerves are getting hit and when you keep rubbing it. It's just, we here are not living like normal humans. They literally turned us back 100,000 years ago, and it's not okay. It is completely not okay for any human to live like this.
Aid agencies like Save the Children and UNICEF report facing safety challenges and restrictions from Israeli forces, making it difficult to provide support and supplies to children. The U.S. has airdropped supplies, resulting in crowds of desperate people scrambling to obtain canned food. Unfortunately, in multiple instances, Israeli forces have attacked these aid seekers. One such instance is known as the Flower Massacre, which occurred on February 29th when Israeli forces opened fire on civilians waiting for food by an aid truck on Al-Rashid Street in Gaza. 118 civilians died, and another 760 were injured. The war has plunged people into a state of uncertainty that is deeply harmful for children. Nadine, like many others, yearns for a return to normalcy where children can grow up in peace and attend school without fear. She hopes for a future where their lives are no longer overshadowed by conflict and uncertainty.
I want to be like other children. I want to be a doctor. There's children who want to be engineers. But here in Gaza, our schools are being, people are living in our schools because there are no homes anymore. They're seeking refuge in schools. That's our schools.